Hey everybody, welcome back to another White Roots recap here on Patreon. We are at episode 504.
Yes.
Yes. Dear Offer.
Don't want no problems.
Nah. Exactly. This episode's titled Dear Offred, which let's dive in, shall we?
Yeah.
So the episode opens up with her gazing, being, that's so Offred. She's playing on the swings with Nichole.
Right, yeah.
And
Nishwala.
I'm like, damn, Nishwal. I'm like, this baby is like, she should be 30 now.
I'm honestly, and she should be miserable, but she's not. I'm glad she's not, but she should be. She's, because they want you to pay attention to Offred's, June's. Look, they want us to pay attention to June's. I know. This is your fault. You just said it. To her, like, living in her trauma state. I was looking at Nishwala, and let me tell you how Mama was singing Barney and clapping, and I said, that's right, resilient baby. That's motherfucking right. You better be happy amidst the chaos that is around you.
Big time.
Yeah.
So, this weird white bitch comes up to them and was like, oh my gosh, you're June. That's Nicole. Oh my gosh, she's so precious. And when I made the same face as Elizabeth Scientology when she said Nicole's name, and I was like, hold a minute.
Well, first she said, if you caught it, first she said how old she was. What is she, about such and such a month? And then she was like, Nishwal, right? And I was like, oh, this bitch is a Gilead supporter. Okay.
She's a Gilead truther.
She is. She's part of Gilead.
MAGA, Make America Gilead again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, a lot of my notes say kill her, June. So,
But, I had a very black mother moment. Because, June yokes her up. Don't you fucking... Yeah. And I was like, that's right. And I told you about that time my mother threatened that kid when my sister was in like second grade, kindergarten or second grade, one or the other. And you turn around, you see my mother on the playground. I will stomp you into the concrete. So I was like, yes, mood, but also June, don't turn your back on your baby. What the hell is wrong with you? I know she's grown and can contend to herself, but
right. Because I was like, you turned your head, like, it was a 5-minute altercation when you yoked old girl up.
Yeah.
Which, necessary, needed to happen.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, they could have stole your They could have stole your spicy white baby.
It was me and that bitch at IKEA. You remember that? You remember that bitch gonna kick the cart while Noah was in it?
Oh, at Old Navy.
No. That was I will kick your baby in the head. IKEA was okay.
The card thing. Yes, I remember this now.
MLK Day, 2015, and I gotta run and go get some wine glasses for a client's. He wanted real wine glasses for an event, and so I was like, "Duh, IKEA, cheap. I get 6 of them in a pack, and I get mat packs." So we run, forgetting it was a holiday. And it's me, my husband, and my daughter. And so, IKEA's one aisle, one lane down the highway. So there is 2 ladies who keep stopping in the aisle. And I was, for 5 minutes, I rode with it. Okay, bet. And then I said, can you please, when y'all want to look at shit, pull your cart over to the side? This bitch got an attitude with me, and before I knew it, that's what it was. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I asked you nicely. Now I'm not about to be nice. Pull your shit to the side. So I'm going. Accidentally hit her in the back of the heels. I didn't do it on purpose. I would say if I did. And I apologize. I was like, my bad. That wasn't on purpose, even despite our last words. Like, I didn't do that intentionally. This bitch kicks the cart with my kid in it to try to teach me a lesson. When I tell you I body slammed her into one of them big baskets of teddy bears or whatever the fuck they had, I got that bitch together. Don't you ever, I don't care if you didn't touch her, don't you ever put nothing near nothing that my child is near. I will rock your motherfucking shit. But I did all that without turning my back. So I say all that to say, don't turn your back on that 30-year-old baby, June.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Agreed. So, after she yokes old girl up, her and fake Barack Obama go talk to their therapist, their marriage counselor. And, you know, her therapist is very understanding. Because June is like, you know, when will my anger stop? Like, when I see her, will I not want to kill her? And her therapist was like, girl, I think forever you're gonna want to kill her. So you're gonna have to cope with it.
Yeah. We'll figure out some mechanisms.
Yeah, coping mechanisms.
Yep.
Maybe marijuana. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, you know, Mark and Serena are linking up, and he finally, and this is the official goodbye. She's free. She's a free woman-ish. And Mark Twello warns Serena and tells her, like, hey, girl, you might want to seek asylum in Americanada or Can America, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and she's like, I am not an American.
Which, I get it, moody on that.
Right.
But I also,
I'm like, well, what else I get to claim?
yeah, but also, girl, Gilead ain't something you should rep either. So
no.
whatever.
But he's like, okay, rep your set, but just know that this is a free country and niggas gonna run up. But since you have made your formal decision, you are now banished to all Gileadian properties. Okay? You are annexed there and you may not go to other spaces.
So she gets picked up by her new escort, Mr. Shaw. And I always learned, I was like, he must be rather important because they gave him a name.
Oh, true. And his demeanor is like too questionable for us to like, you know.
Low-key feels like the bodyguard, so like he's probably
like he trying to fuck. I know.
Yeah, either he gonna try to fuck or he gonna get killed. One of those.
Yeah.
So
Probably gonna get killed.
I don't know if we could put this part on YouTube, but
Talk to me.
So they brought Serena to her new place of residence and work, which is an embassy but not an embassy.
Oh,
the Gilead.
The Gilead Celebrity
Informational Center. Yeah. Yes. I said, this looks like COS. I'm not going to say the names, but it looks exactly like COS. Even down to the color choice. Well, the whole show is honestly about them.
Which is whatever. The iron in the knees.
Yeah. Bigly.
Because you know people have been asking her ass. They've been asking Offred, like, bitch, how you do this show and you are in that? And she's like, they're like, it's oppressive and wah, 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 wah. And she obviously has drunk the Kool-Aid. She's in it. And she's like, no, like, I believe in women's rights. I'm a feminist and, you know, whoop-de-woo. And I'm confused, but.
But see, they do that when we're the biggest stars. Because remember how Tom Cruise.
That's why Handmaid's Tale blew up like that.
Illuminati. So yeah, she goes to the Church of Gilead. And they up here doing, you know, putting up shiplap and painting shit or whatever.
Yeah, under his eye, emblems and sconces.
Right. So Mark Twello goes to June's crib and, you know, they ask him about, you know, how's Black Hannah? And he's like, you know, she cool. You know, she alive. She
healthy.
Smells good.
Right.
Yeah,
She
her
eating
hair's
her vegetables.
done. Yeah. And they mad because you up here talking about watching her, but you ain't take our daughter back. And it's like, hey guys, it's not that
It's
simple.
not. You can't do that like that. Like that nigga will die, and so will Blana if they just try.
Yeah.
Like what?
Exactly.
It's a process.
Exactly.
In the words
There
of
is a
Canadians, it's a process.
Right. So, you know, Mark tells them that you know, Serena Joy is in representing the Church of Gilead.
In Canada.
Yeah, in Canada, and they are pissed.
Okay.
And June says,
Keisha said,
and I quote,
"Hold on, wait a minute now. These motherfuckers got an embassy." And he's like, just a couple reps. And she's like,
yeah. And June hits him with, "God, you're such a fucking disappointment."
It was the calm. I said, "Way to be a villain. Play the role." She was like, "You're such a fucking pussy. You pussy ass motherfucker. You couldn't even pull blood out." Like, with the low
the
voice.
funny part about this is because you can see June's face, her soul is settled, and she knows what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because, you know, fake Obama is like, you're a fucking waste of, you know, all the Mark 12 making all this noise. All the while, June is making tea.
Right.
She's like,
yeah.
Aren't you mad as up? She was like, I'm not worried. Because in my head, I was like, oh, she's going to kill her.
Absolutely.
Like, there's
when you get that calm,
there's never been
it's time.
Yeah, there's also never been a question that she wasn't going to. Yeah. It's just a matter of when she's going to.
Right. How and when.
Yeah. So, I'm not worried. Mama dug up the Nina from episode 502.
Did.
And put the Nina in the passenger.
Yep.
And she got in the car, in the Subs, and drove up to, you know, the Gilead Cultural Center.
Which I knew, it's clear she going through some things. But I said, this bitch didn't even go wash her hands afterwards. Like, how you feel comfortable with all that shit on your hands? She give a fuck. She was like, I got work to do. So when she pulls up to the Celebrity Center, we see all the followers with their lanterns. You know what I'm saying? Ready to praise. It was weird, too, because Serena just in the window, and they're just, like, looking up. And I was like, what kind of fucking shit is this? This is really that's exactly what it looked like when we pulled up to the spot.
To the Celebrity Center.
Mm-hmm. When we pulled up to the Celebrity Center and we seen all them people start walking like Walking Dead. That's how they was.
So June and Serena stare at each other in the window, and Serena shook, like she is scared. But again, the theme of the season is when a bitch is scared, bad things happen.
I'm not gonna say good thing. But before June did the skirt up to Serena's window, because when I tell you, Mama did a full Fast and Furious 22, like zoom. And before that, she was having trouble releasing the clip because it was too slippery from the mud. So that was probably the best thing in that moment, because June was going to jail and it didn't allow her to do that in that moment.
Yeah, I laughed because later on she cleans the gun and somebody asked her, like, well, how'd you clean it? She was like, I learned on YouTube.
On a YouTube
I was like,
video?
I learned everything on YouTube.
University
Same,
of YouTube.
Let me learn how to clean a gun from YouTube. Listen, I learned so much from YouTube University.
Because I thought she was about to, what was that nigga's name? Not Hannibal Buress. What's the other nigga's name? The nigga who shot himself by accident in the car, the basketball player. You don't remember that? Hold on. I'm going to tell you. Basketball player, shoots self in car.
I bet you there's a watcher or supporter right now watching this shouting out the answer.
Yeah, you know they are. If for whatever god-awful reason you want more Jade and XD, make sure you subscribe to us on Patreon. Oh, Burris.
Oh, yes.
Plaxico Burris. Remember when he accidentally... I thought that's what was getting ready to happen in June when she was slipping with that fucking... with the Nina. But,
yeah,
you know. Anyway, continue.
So, you know, she comes back and tells Luke that she drove over there to kill Serena, and she don't know how to not stop thinking about shooting that bitch in the head.
Yeah. Wow.
And, you know, I'm assuming Luke has a white mother.
Yes.
Because he tells her the most white thing ever. We're going to get the building shut down. I know a couple people in City of Buildings. She'll be out homeless by the end of the week. Yada, yada, yada. And June is kind of like,
nigga, what?
Okay, but what does that do for me?
Like, I don't give a fuck about no codes.
Yeah, like, what does that do for me?
Nigga, what? Their water heater is out of whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck about none of that, motherfucker. I'm ready to kill.
That's why I laughed when he showed up later to Serena. Serena was like, so you tell me that I have, like, plumbing issues?
I can't wait to get to that part. I cannot fucking wait. I will say this, though. What's frustrating, endearing but yet frustrating about Mixed Luke is that while he has suffered his own trauma and...
I forgot that he got shot and he was...
But it's not even just you getting shot. It's you getting shot, and it's also you losing your wife, you losing your child, you not knowing what happened to any of them, not really having any control or power or any means to be able to go back and save them. And I feel for him in that way. In the same sense, sometimes I need you to shut the fuck up when she is processing because... That lady endured shit that you are truly, when I tell you, never going to understand. Never.
Which is why I always like when Poussey like comes and sometimes I look at her like, bitch, who the fuck are you? But then I'm also like, Poussey did go through a lot of that stuff.
She did. She did, but she also was able to get over there a lot earlier than June. And then she was also working in a brothel. Like, she kind of had a different set of circumstances. So even though she definitely endured trauma, there's still certain levels that you're still not going to comprehend.
So, back in Gilead, Auntie Lydia is helping Janine to rehabilitate. Now, this is the part of the story where I was like, white people have the nerve. Like, this was so dark and twisted and complicated that I don't want to be on Auntie Lydia's side. Because it's still wild. But I understand. So... Janine has issues walking, and so she's bitter about it. She's like, you know, this is fucked up, and so...
Yeah, she gotta use polio crutches and all that.
Yeah, and Lydia's like, fuck Esther, she did this to you, and she's a threat to all the other girls. And Janina was like, whoa.
She's a baby.
I don't like the way you talk about a child like that.
Before that, she was like, fuck the Bible, bitch. Stop talking to me about the motherfucking Bible. I don't want to hear no more.
You know what's odd about this show? Because the Bible verses that they be using be hitting at the time. You be like, yes! Oh, no. Not in this context. No.
No, because they use it in the same way that white people used it in slavery.
That they use it now.
Always, of time. But... You know what I mean? You can't read this shit.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's the part where I be struggling with because Lydia hit her with the scripture, and I was like, yeah, no.
And then one of the peak comedy moments of this season, Jenny looks at her and says, I know who you really are. I still got one good eye.
Yeah, I still got one good eye.
When I tell you I cackled down, okay?
Yeah, and Janine tells her, like, calls her on her bullshit, like, no, like, don't tell me, like, you're supposed to be good or whatever. Like, no. This is awful.
Yeah, this whole shit is fucked up. Right. And you're not gonna pretend that you looking out for girls and all that. Like, you a part of the problem. You not the solution. You are the problem.
And it gets under Lydia's skin a little bit. So, congenial white commander Lawrence and Serena get on the phone because he canceled a meeting on her behalf. And she's like, well, what the fuck? And essentially they're trying to colonize Africa and things again, and
Venezuela,
spread their awful gospel around the globe. And they took her off the Africa trip, but they put her on the Venezuela one.
Yeah.
And she don't like that. But Lawrence again warns her about June. Everybody is warning her about June.
Because they're scared, which is what we speaks directly to what we talking about. Him included. They all scared. They're like, this is one person, but goddamn, that bitch is driven, okay? And if we don't come together collectively to take her down, she is going to fuck us. This bitch been fucking up Gilead for quote 5 years or whatever that time frame was supposed to be. This bitch been wreaking havoc for half a decade. But even in all that, their conversation is still very tense because Serena mad that she couldn't throw no pussy at him because he still is in love with his dead wife.
Period.
Yeah.
So next we see, June is up here earthing and shit,
Sorry.
She got her hands in the earth. She's still thinking about ways to kill Serena.
Yeah.
Like, most of the episode is her in a euphoric state thinking of all these ways to kill Serena Joy Waterford.
Yeah.
Which, again,
valid.
Food. So, the mail comes. And she gets a note, and it says offered on the envelope. And in my head, I was like, "Oh, Serena wants."
Let me tell you something. That bitch is Russia. Do you hear me? Like,
yeah. She
is a motherfucking problem.
Bigly. It is an invitation to the Gilead Informational Center opening gala.
Yeah. Visit the Celebrity Center and get your own copy of Gilead's Dianetics.
So, all of a sudden, June was like, well, I guess I gotta go kill this bitch. It was like that SpongeBob meme, like,
we're gonna fucking.
Yeah.
Or it was Viola Davis with the purse. All right, I'll be back.
Yeah. Exactly. Now I got some more shit to do. Let me kill this bitch on the way to Jollibee.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna stop at the TCBY, having some yogurt in her honor.
If I pick up the dry cleaning on the way to shooting this bitch in the eye, I might be able to make the matinee. Like, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Or should I hit it on the way back? I don't know.
Now, what happens next is a turn of the story. Because before, Mixed Luke.
That's what he is in all of my notes.
Yeah, Mixed Luke.
Mixed Luke. Black Hannah and Mixed Luke. 'Cause
Yeah, Mixed Luke. 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 Which is so funny because technically Hannah is only like
Right.
a
That's
quarter.
what but I don't care. It's Black Hannah and it's mixed Luke.
Is she? Yeah. So, you know, mixed Luke shows up to the Gilead Center. And I laugh because he shows up to meet with Serena. Serena was like, y'all better search him. We already did. Do it again.
Do it again. Ooh, baby.
Which was emasculating and racist.
Yeah, and on top of that, he showed up in the Patagonia in those fucking boat shoe boots. And it's like, what threat are you posing? Nigga, you should have showed up in an 8-ball jacket. You know what I'm saying? Some Nietzsche. Put some fear in these hoes.
Don't show up to me like an activist.
Right.
That nigga came.
Right. Like an IT worker.
Guard.
Like,
yeah.
Nigga, come in here, guns blazing. I want Wu-Tang vibes when you walk up in this motherfucker. I want Triumph playing behind you when you walk in this motherfucker.
You're not getting that when you look like you work for, like, you know, Uber or Capsule. You know what I mean?
Right. Skechers.
Yeah, like nothing like you a UX designer at Spotify. Like, that's just not gonna work for me. You know what I mean?
No. Be like, come nigga, come fix this VIN and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Fix my VoIP.
Something's wrong with the portal, motherfucker. Fix
it.
Get out of here with this dick energy.
Yeah, dick energy. So he's up here like, I have letters and proof. I'm shutting you down. And the building's getting shut down. And Serena's like, so you came to tell me that I have public plumbing problems. That's all you came to tell me? Like,
she's like, oh, they forgot to pay the electricity bill? Okay.
Yeah. And this is where the story turns because Luke tells her, which we all know, like, well, no, I came also to tell you that my wife is going to kill you. And I'm not going to stop her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, normally, Mixed Luke is, like, on the hand of, you know, like, let's do the right thing. Let's get the building shut down. Let's do, you know.
We don't want to move. We don't want to lose Nishwal, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he's had it up to, you know, here with her. And he's, you know, fuck it.
So Serena Joy looks at this nigga and says, listen here, pussy. Your wife got a bigger dick than you. Your daughter got a bigger dick than you. So what's up?
Mm-hmm.
Baby, he got very Deontay. He got very low-key mannish and was like, I'm gonna kill you myself. And it didn't feel like any real threat of violence.
No, because again, he's in Patagonia.
Yeah.
Like,
you have been threatening me with New Balances.
Yeah, you're not gonna strike fear in me driving a Subaru.
No. Although those are off-road vehicles, and we might want to be a little bit more cautious than what we are with people who drive.
That is very true, because that show on Worst Roommate Ever, when he drove that lady up into like the sticks and shit, he drove a Subaru.
You see, it's
4x4.
always you gotta watch them all wheels.
Like a rock. Oh, like a rock. So this is where shit gets a little complicated, because Auntie Lydia has this idea of handmaid reform.
And and I know that it's coming from the fact that she knows shit is not right. And I mean, shit is not right, but in her mind, shit is not right because she thinks she's on the right side of things. So what she's trying to do is protect the girls from any further DK rape. Even though it's all rape, she's trying to protect them from that because she knows there's funny shit happening in the houses with the commanders outside of the ceremony.
So she shows up to Commander Congenial White, Lawrence, and is like, but he's like, hey, you need to tighten your girls up because Serena, and they keep talking about this a lot, how much this funeral did so well for Gilead. And so now that they've opened, and Lawrence talks about, like, we can't talk about too much of what we do here. Right. Because they know they're wrong. Right? Or they know that the rest of the world won't understand. So he's like, girl, get your girls together, tighten them up, because we can't have this outburst like this all the time now that we're on a international stage. And Lydia's like, I have an idea. Let's reform this because shit is weird. And I want all the girls to stay with me. I want to be in charge of the girls. I want them to come. I want the commanders to come to my turf for the ceremony, which is essentially rape again. But there's more of it's almost more clinical, right? I guess.
Yeah.
And in her head, she thinks it's
legit. It's got process to it.
Yeah, in her head, it's a lot more safe, and I guess it is.
According
to Gilead, if you're gonna have to live in this
standards,
world,
I guess.
Yeah, if you're gonna have to live in this world, this makes a lot more sense around the word safe.
Right.
Commander Lawrence tells her that all them white men are pious and horny and kinky, and this will never work out, so he's not even gonna bother mentioning it to the eyes.
When that nigga broke Gilead, he ain't never really in Gileadian character. But when he really broke it and she proposed it to him and that nigga said, "What are you smoking?" I did laugh.
This is where we also learn that she's never been a handmaid.
No, Aunt Lydia was never a handmaid. Remember, she was commissioned.
But it's reintroduced because remember, he's like, "Don't you know what this like?" She was like, "No, don't you?" Like they had like
like I ain't never put on that motherfucking bonnet, nigga.
Yeah. So,
and this is where you can see Vigilante Lydia start to quietly develop.
So
maybe.
Yeah. Now it gets wild in the next scene. So back in Canada,
it gets real American.
Yeah, June pulls up to the Gilead Center with the Glock. You know, again, the Glock is real clean.
Yeah, she got that thing on her.
She goes outside. She gets out the whip. However, Murder Gang, Slaughter Gang is already there. Remember the Dora Milaje of Canada.
She's also not alone this time, but June don't give a fuck who's there.
Right. So little do we know that this is happening at the same time that Mixed Luke is cursing out Serena with his building violations.
No, this is happening at the same time because remember, Mixed Luke is with June when she pulls up this time. Serena is having a photo shoot.
No, remember, because she's like, "What are you doing here?" Because you're right. He
showed up. He showed up on some Spider-Man shit.
Right. So, yeah, she's outside with Murder Gang, Slaughter Gang, because they come out of nowhere. Because her supporters and shit are outside. Yes, Serena's having a photo shoot. And she's like, "Why is there no natural light?" They were like, "Bitch, you can't be around windows right now.
Yeah.
It's not safe."
Yeah.
So, this white man outside gets real buck. Is like, you know, a Gilead truther, and eventually ends up punching Poussey in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And then June pulls out the gun on this white man. And I was like, keep my friend's name out your fucking mouth. You know? And then Luke happens to catch her like, it ain't worth it, Miss Seeley.
Yeah, also, bitch, you are an immigrant. You've got, run!
Yeah.
Yes.
So Poussey on the ground, knocked out.
I know. And she was very White Curtis.
Yeah, she knocked on the ground and talking about, get her out of here, get her out of here.
Yeah.
And so they rush to the back and they end up running into Serena, getting into the safe car. And they have a standoff, and it's like, June has every opportunity.
Baby, it was very like, will June shoot Serena on the next episode? Yeah. Will she salvage her baby on the next Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Yes, exactly that. So, but she doesn't kill her. She ends up going to a safe house.
Missed opportunity.
Which, there's not much to that. We learned about what the safe house is later because I was confused as to what this house they took her to.
I was also confused about her reaction. I kind of had an idea, but I'm not fully clear.
Same. But next episode we'll go into where she ends up. But she ends up going to a house, and that wasn't the story for that, right? So Janine gets out the hospital.
Mm-hmm. And they in the red pussy wagon headed to
back to, you know,
Camp
Gilead
David
or wherever the fuck. Yeah. And Lydia apologizes and asks for help to keep. She wants Janine to keep her ear to the streets and let her know if there's any abuse happening so that she can take care of it.
Yeah.
Because she wants to make things right.
Yeah, it's a false sense of saving.
Yeah, and it's like, this is so complicated. You try to have like a anti-Me Too a Me Too movement and the biggest anti-Me Too, like...
Right, and then in the end you close it out with, I want to keep them on God's path. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's very strange. It's very complicated. And so, yeah, Luke gets the building shut down.
Yeah, this is where we see that Caucasian antics sometimes win.
Yeah, and we learn that he's actually wants to be part of Murder Gang, Slaughter Gang too.
Yeah, he's like, sign me up, gang, go ahead, jump me in, because I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and that turns June on, and so they bump uglies.
I never needed a June and mixed Luke sex scene.
Never.
And then this nigga is like tenderly laying at the end with his silhouette. I was like...
Yeah.
And this is in conjunction, because remember they like to do the back and forth scenes. This is in conjunction with Serena being homeless and having to go to that safe house. And so she walks into this like Canadian version of her old house. And that's why I realized that, they don't have Marthas in the Gileadian households in Canada. They just got maids. So,
yes.
The lady answers the door with her Handmaid outfit on. And Serena looks uncomfortable when she goes in, because the wife comes down and she greets her, and it's very like, praise be under his eye, what a blessing from God, and gets down on her knees and starts talking to the baby. And Serena, it's almost like she has a like, damn, am I like that kind of moment. But I know we'll get more clarity, obviously, but I'm curious to see what's developing.
It was very similar to what we saw in the beginning of the episode, of
where she was uncomfortable with the handmaid situation, even though she fully got comfortable with it real quick, because white people love having slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it for today's recap. We'll see you episode 505 next week.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. Bye, guys.
Bye.